Here we are with course designer extraordinaire, Mikey Ellington Smith. Thanks so much for taking a second to talk to me. This is the first time here at Wallaby Hill for the CCI 3-star. And talk to me, if you don't mind, a little bit about what you had in mind for this course with the land and, getting the length going and things like that.
It's always fun when you're starting up from scratch and designing a new course at essentially what's a new venue. There was a CIC 3-star here last year, and then Alex said, "Oh, I want to run a CCI." So the first challenge is then to work out how you're going to get the distance. And Alex and Derek, they're both bustingly enthusiastic about the sport, as everybody knows, and were determined to come up with something that fitted in well with the property and had nice ride and nice feel and nice flow to it. The acquisition of the additional farm, the additional land, has enabled the courses to expand, and obviously to get a CCI 3-star in, we needed to get to the minimum distance to start with. Actually, it ended up with just under 6 kilometres, which I was really pleased about. And there's some great terrain here, great undulations. They worked really, really hard, and the team worked really, really hard on the footing, and it's still top of the list. I mean, there's still a lot more that can be done. Did a great job in essentially what was a short space of time, and the footing will improve year on year and become really, really good. There's no question about that. And the determination and the willpower that exists, in Alex and Derek's minds and in reality will make sure that happens. In terms of the overall degree of difficulty of the course, the first year I didn't make it big and scary. Come up with a variety of questions. It's a great place to design a course. There's a bit of terrain. It's not flat. There's some ups and downs, and the development of some of the areas has been fantastic. I mean, where the deer paddock is, we've gone through there. We've cleaned out some ditches, done a bit of landscaping of the ground, cleaned out some trees, and opened up some areas and come up with some really good features. So, my conversation with Alex and Derek has been very much, okay, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do the other, and Alex just said, right, let's just do it. So it's fantastic, and it's great working with them, because they want it to be as good as it possibly can be.
Alex is definitely a stickler for details, and you can see that as that you were kind of left to your own devices as far as making everything. No stone went unturned, and no blade of grass went unnoticed out there, which is it's a beautiful presentation and rode beautifully yesterday. So.
Yeah, I mean, and what I do is the designer, I come up. I want something that's got a nice flow to it, a nice feel to it. There's a story to the course, and there's a rhythm with it as well, and that's really, really important. Then Brett and the guys, they come along, do the actual grunt work, doing the building, build the fences, and so the first year you're always sort of seeing how the ground's going to work, and I'm mindful that some of it is relatively new ground, and therefore I have to have that in the back of my mind to start with. As the ground gets more established, more secure, then we start playing a bit of a tune with it.
Is there anything that you hope to change for years to come with this course, or were you overall? I mean, obviously, overall, you have to be happy with the way the course went.
Yeah, I was really pleased. I think well done everybody who rode well yesterday. It's sort of tough for those who didn't have such a good day, but it's I was really pleased with the way the course rode, and I think everybody rode very sensibly, which is good. There's a bit to jump out there, and it's somebody said, "Gosh, it's big." I said, "Well, I haven't done big yet. We can do big. This isn't big." And so but at the end of the day, it's all about achieving a standard, isn't it? I mean, it's CCIs, well, at any level, regardless, it's all about achieving a standard. It's not a question of pushing beyond a standard.
And safety obviously is first and foremost on anyone's mind as far as the horses and riders are concerned. And walking out there were frangible pens in the places that there should be, and also there was a fully collapsible table at the end of the course. Did you, moving forward, is that something that you think obviously is going to continue to aid in the development of the course and continuing to keep that in mind as far as the new technology as it comes about?
I'm a great believer that course designers have a moral responsibility to use the mechanisms that are available. There's this discussion going on at the moment, and we're hoping that the 11 penalties will get removed from the rulebook, which will then encourage people to use more of these mechanisms. And for me, it's the way forward. It is a risk sport. We need to minimise the risk. And I sit on this FEI Risk Management Steering Group in the process of setting up a course design summit next February, where we're discussing all these things. And engaging everyone from around the world. There'll probably be about 100 people coming together in Europe, which would be a fantastic opportunity to brainstorm stuff, share experiences, share thoughts, share knowledge. And there's no question that we need to do whatever we can in the sport to minimise risk. It is a risk sport. It's the buzz. The buzz is going cross country. That's why we all do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't like the risk, you don't do it. You go and do something else, and that's sort of how it is. That's not playing it down at all. But there is a responsibility. We all have a responsibility. It doesn't matter whether you're a course designer, or technical delegate, or organizer. We all, we're all in this together, including the riders. It's a massive pool of knowledge there, and we all need to be pulling in the same direction, going in the same direction, using the same thought processes. I mean, the table, at the end of the course, I think it's the first time it's been used in Australia. I mean, this is one particular idea. The MIM system is a good system. The reverse pins, I'm off front pinning. Reverse pinning is a good system. The MIMs, the short arms for me are better than the longer arms. You've got choices for various technical reasons. And we've got various other ideas that are in the melting pot at the moment, which will be researched shortly. And so we're everybody's engaged and needs to be thinking about it. And we need to go to the next step.
So bringing in any and all technology, I think at this point is welcomed, as far as putting it on the table to think for the next step. Is that how you feel as well, as far as opening the door and allowing the table to be an open forum for discussion?
Everything's should be an open forum for discussion. I mean, nobody has a monopoly on good ideas, and nobody should be stubborn enough to actually not be prepared to discuss these things. It's a complete no-brainer in my book. We're all in the sport together for all the right reasons. We do the sport for riders to go out and have a good time, and if horses make mistakes, riders make mistakes, which happens. We've got to try and find a way of minimising the consequences of those errors.
Absolutely. Now, for those people that are not in Australia and not familiar with Australian goings, is there anything, you obviously are a man of the world, so is there anything in particular about Australia eventing or Australian ground or the terrain or anything that's particularly difficult here to deal with as in other aspects?
Footing is, for me, footing is the most important aspect. You can have the best fences in the world, but if the footing is not really good, they count for nothing. There is no excuse in this day and age for poor, hard ground. Wet ground is much more difficult to manage. There's machinery that exists. Alex here, she's got herself an aerovator, a fantastic bit of kit. And there is machinery around that can sort out hard ground. And there's all sorts of different bits of machinery. And they all have different uses. They all work in different ways. And it depends on the type of ground you've got and which machine you use. But for sure, there is a need to recognise that actually footing is a 12-month-year program. It's not something you can band-aid at the last minute, because you're literally just putting a band-aid over it. And if you're in charge of your own destiny, if it's your own property, you're in a much stronger position than if you're, relying on somebody else to prepare the ground. But it does need, if you're on a farm, it needs stock management, working with the organisers and the landowners and the farm manager or whoever, so everybody understands what the goal is, so you can get there. Horses now, they're very valuable. And we have a responsibility. They have a certain number of miles in them, and the better the footing that we can produce, the longer they're going to stay in the sport. And there's as I say, wet ground is much more difficult to manage than firm ground. So anything that can be done to improve footing needs to be done, in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. And as a rider myself, that's definitely very important for us too, because it makes our jobs on Saturday night much easier. So
also, the horses, they grow. If the footing's good and the footing's secure, they feel good on it. They'll jump better. They'll perform better. They're better in their heads. As course designers, we're mindful not just how the horses work physically, but what the mental effects are of the courses that we put out there. And so we need to understand all of that. We want to see horses grow and benefit from the experience, not think, crikey, this footing is bloody awful, and they get suspicious of it. Whereas they want to be going and feeling good. And that's why I'm also a pain in the neck about people driving on the course. People spend a lot of time preparing the ground, or they should spend a lot of time preparing the ground. And for people to then start driving around on it, compacting again, just makes no sense.
Right.
I'm anal about it, and I don't care who you are. I won't drive on the course. There's no reason for officials to drive on it. There's no reason for people to drive on the course. They can stay off the course. They can service it and manage it from the outside. And I make no apology for saying
Excellent.
that whatsoever.
Well done. Now, you've done so many things in your career, and I'm sure we'll continue to do many more. amazing things. But is there anything on your personal bucket list that you still would like to do or check off?
It's a big question. Not really. I mean, in the horse world, not really. In other walks of life, yes, for sure. No, I just had a great time. It's a privilege to have been able to do what I've done, and go to some great places, meet some fantastic people. I say everybody has the same goals in mind, and no, it's just great. At the moment, I love actually, if I can, in some small way, help people get on the step ladder with course designing, and
Yep.
I enjoy doing that and finding people opportunities, in such ways as I can a little bit. It's great, I'm a bit of an old codger now, so
Yep.
we need the next generation. It's a worldwide problem, actually.
Yes.
Finding the next generation of officials, not just course designers, but TDs and judges as well. And then it's great, the National Federation programs need to be such that they facilitate people coming through the system rather than create massive great roadblocks. And so I really enjoy doing that. And but no, I don't really have a bucket list. I just go through, sort of swan through life in a bit of a charmed way, really, I suppose.
That's the best way. Now, on the same level, you have done so many things. What has been kind of the top tier? Like, if you think of one great thing that you are very proud of or happy that you did, or anything like that stands out in your mind. I'm sure there's many, but you're kind of...
There's all sorts of things that stand out for different reasons. Actually,
Right.
One of the most fun things, and this is a question I get asked sometimes, which surprises people. They think I'm going to say Olympics or Worlds or Europeans and all that sort of stuff. Actually, my mum used to run a little mini event for tiny people on leading reins. Where the fence is about 12 inches high, 18 inches high. And actually coming up with 16 or 17 fences that are that small was really difficult. But the kids think, the children had a ball and they're smiling, they're happy, they think they've been around badminton. And it's just brilliant. That gave me the most amount of pleasure, actually, just seeing those kids doing that. And our kids did it when they were little and they just loved it. And it's actually that sort of, the professionals, it's a professional job, it's a professional world. They sort of get to a stage where they take it for granted, it's their job. Whereas, to do something where people get genuine pleasure out of it, is just fantastic. I love it. Just love it.
That's great. Well, I know that everyone at Wallaby Hill is immensely thankful and grateful to have you here. And I guess everyone hopes that you'll come back for many years. And we'll try and keep it sunny and warm around Christmas time. Thank you very much.